Panning, that's a fun topic. I'm going to pull up this, which is an example panning chart for you. Now, panning, you should, when you first sit down and you've labeled your tracks, you've done all this important stuff, you've got your vocal comp, you've sort of set your initial mix levels, then is when you can start playing with your pan. And it might be the case that in the recording process, especially if you were doing it yourself, you might have set pans already. But I would highly recommend that you reset everything. And then you can see here, I would recommend that if you were doing that, you just set everything to 0. So dead center when you start. And why I'd recommend this is it's helpful to get an idea and start fresh when you're approaching panning. So I would say when you get ready to set those initial pans, just set everything to dead center and then go from there. But back to this chart here. This is an example panning chart. It is by no means something you have to do. Like anything in mixing, you might have different needs as you're panning. But in general, here are some good go-to rules of thumb to follow. Your lead vocal. You're going to generally want that to be dead center panned. If you're playing a mix, the vocal should be the star, unless of course you're doing an instrumental. And if you're doing an instrumental, I would say think about what might be taking over for the vocal. What would be the star of the show there? So a lot of people might have instrumentals with guitars. Well, if the guitar is the star of the show, put it in the center. If it's a piano, put it in the center. But assuming you have a vocal, your lead vocal should be dead center. From there, your drums, a lot of people like putting the kick drum right in the center. Again, that's something that is pretty good practice to do. You don't have to, but I do recommend you at least start with that. Your bass. Bass generally always goes in the center. Again, this is one of those things from a listening perspective. We're trying to shape things and put things in space when you're mixing. You are trying to basically lay things out. So imagine a stage when it comes to mixing, right? And panning. Imagine you're at a concert and you're looking at a band. Where is the drummer? Generally, the drummer is going to be like in the back towards the center. That's why you might want to put your drums, your kick, and your snare in the center. Where's the lead vocalist? Generally, he's kind of in the center, right? Again, think of things that way, because panning is all about shaping your mix and all about, really, really carving things out in space. So your kick, your bass, your lead vocal, I'd say it's a pretty safe bet to always want to put those center. Now, here it suggests that you've got your lead guitar 50% left, and you put your rhythm guitar way left, and you would put, any kind of keys or acoustic guitar to the right. Then you've got your toms separated left and right. Again, just think about this if you're listening to something in a pair of headphones. Think about where things are panned. And this is another great way to, if you have a reference track, plug that in and listen to the panning. Where do they have their lead guitar? If you're going for that and you really like this track, well, why not try it? And it might work for you. So, again, look at this. If you are unsure where to put things, start here and see if you like it. But a lot of things can give you space with panning. You can make a lot of decisions that can give you some space. So what I liked for this is, and I kind of broke a panning rule here, my bass wasn't exactly dead center because I had two bass elements. So what I did is I'm just panning them equidistant to the left and the right to sort of fill that out. That's an artistic decision I'm making. You may hate it. You may say, Scott, that's the craziest decision ever, and I can't believe you did it. But you absolutely can do that. Now, I don't want to confuse you too much, but I've doubled this track to get it a little fuller. And as part of doubling it, there's really, my thought is you can double it and have them both dead center. But again, it's not the star of the show. So I doubled one, panned it all the way left, double the other, panned it all the way right. Drums, Yeah, those guys are dead center. Vocal, dead center. Now we'll talk a bit later about automation, which is a really key thing. But this backing vocal, if you were to see my later versions of this, you'll see some crazy panning automation I'm doing for this because I've got, if you want to listen to what this backing vocal is, it's kind of a counter melody here. Look right through me, and I find it kind of funny. I find it kind of sad. The dream. Okay, so you hear that counter melody. Later in my mix here, when I added reverb and did all this good stuff, I actually have this panned. So the first one is in the left ear, or to the left rather. The second one's to the right, and then it goes back to the left. I just like that. I think it's fun. You don't have to do those things, but for me, it gives the song a sense of movement and some space, and it's cool. That's what you can do with panning decisions. You can really shape how your listener is going to experience the song, and that's the importance of panning.